Hello everyone. Today I received some bagpipes and we're going to unbox them. So here we go. Now these have come from Pakistan and I can imagine what some people have to say about that, but we'll see. So here we go. We have a nice bag and a pocket on the front or on the side. Inside we have the obligatory practice chanter and a bag of bits and pieces. So we've got some corks, that'll come in handy, some thread for hemp, we've got some chanter reeds and some practice reeds and a valve. These reeds actually look broken to me, so I don't hold up much hope for them. Anyway, that's the reeds. So we've got some pipes and we've just got some books and gum. Put that to one side. So open this up. Right, so we've got some nice red, yellow and blue cords that match the tartan. Black rosewood with imitation ivory, and they're quite a good fit. Oh, that was clever. So that's half of the bass drone there. And that's a tenor. Another tenor. Well, that was a bit looser. It seems like it's got a good joint in it. And the top of the bass drone. See if I can get this wrapping on. They actually look quite nicely made. So that goes on there. Obviously I'm not going to be able to blow them today if the reeds don't work. There's a that works. And the chanter. That looks quite good. Let's see. See if we can get a little note out of it. Oh, that's a bit louder than I thought it was going to be, but it seems to work. Okay, well that's our unboxing. They look very nice. I shall have to do some tests on the leaks and sort some reeds out for the drones. But well, it's a nice synthetic bag as well. So I'll make a follow-on video when I've got it all tested and working. Thank you very much. So here we are at part 2 of the unbox video. It's been about 10 days since I did the unbox. I've had a few faults that I needed to sort out. The first thing that I realised was a bit of a mistake was the top of the base drone came off after a couple of days. It's a small fault. It just wants a little bit of glue and put it back on. I'm not worried about that. The second thing I noticed was in here, in between the sole and the main part of the chanter, it's not quite been glued on straight, but that's a minor fault because I probably won't be using that chanter. It doesn't sound particularly good, and it was extremely loud. And of course, the other thing was the reeds didn't work, so I had to make myself a set of reeds to go with the drones. Other than that, it all seemed to work quite well. The only thing I was then worried about was the volume. So after a bit of perseverance and some water, I've managed to get these reeds, 2 of these reeds, to sort of make a noise. Anyway, a bit more work. Might even be able to use 2 of them. So the next thing I did was I put some corks in the stocks and inflated the bag, and I found a leak at the blowpipe valve. Only a minor leak. The leak stopped when I put my finger over the end of the blowpipe, and I managed to keep the bag at full pressure for about 4 or 5 minutes, and I was happy with that. I wasn't quite happy about the fact that the main chanter was very loud, and I wanted some Fireside pipes, parlour pipes, whatever you want to call them, half-size pipes. So I decided I needed to try and quieten the chanter down. So the first thing I did was I put some sticky labels over the bottom and put a small hole in. I then played it, and the volume was all over. The low notes were quiet and the high notes were really loud. I put some tape over these side holes, and that just made the problem even worse. So then I decided I would put some tape over the bottom of the holes, because I figured the bottom of the holes would make the volume quieter and it wouldn't affect the tuning, because I'm not covering the top. And I actually got it down to a reasonable volume, but it was so far out of tune, it was unreal, so I gave up. So we're putting that to one side. I might use that as a novelty piece some other day. But my practice chanter, I think, sounds quite good. So what I did was I tried to put my practice chanter into the stock. It wouldn't fit. It was too big. The neck was too big. So I then took out the obligatory practice chanter that came with it and tried to put that in. That was far too small, and I didn't want to prat around putting inches and inches deep of hemp on. So I decided to go for a different solution, and I bought a second practice chanter, the same as my first one. I picked this up for £20, bargain, and I took it to a friend of mine who has a lathe, and he took just a couple of millimeters off the neck to the same diameter as the neck on the original chanter. So I fitted it. It was a tad sloppy, as you would expect, so it was perfect. And I just put a few turns of hemp on, and now I get a pretty good seal. Now you'll notice I'm using a practice reed and not a full reed, and that's because I'm concentrating on the volume. So I have here a silicone straw. This is how they come in the packaging. Pack of 4 usually, with a pipe cleaner. Pipe cleaner is the ideal size also for cleaning out your practice chanter, just as an aside. So I tried different lengths, and I found the actual length of these didn't really matter, but this was not a bad length. It's about 3/4 of an inch or 20 millimeters, depending on whether you're using metric or not. And I just keep a few of these with my reed box. So this is my tenor drone. As you can see, the top's come off. So I'm just going to put a little dab of super glue around here, and we'll just make that quick little repair. Obviously, there's no point me worrying about the problem with the chanter, because that's well and truly glued on, and I don't want to damage it trying to take it off. But otherwise, the rest of this was all pretty good. Not going to complain. Another thing that I found to help with the volume, this is my other tenor drone, is I put a sticky label over there, and I put just a small hole using a biro pen just to make that little hole, and again inside here we've got this little bit of straw cut off. These are all taken apart just so that I can make the second half of the unboxing video. I shall be putting it together very, very shortly and finishing off the video. So I'm going to just inflate the bag, get some noise coming out of the drones and the chanter. You may hear the dog howl. He's not over keen on the noise, and it needs a bit of tweaking, so it might sound a bit of a cow. So in summary, I now have a set of working bagpipes, although not quite in tune at the moment, I'll grant you, but I shall work on that. The point is, value for money, I paid £100 for the bagpipes, I paid £2 or £3 to make some reeds, and £20 for a chanter. So it's cost me, I don't know, £125 tops. Now, I know at the moment they don't sound brilliant, but I've now got an instrument I can play, and it's been cost effective. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, and subscribe, and go and have a look at how I made my reeds.